It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This is like a TV commercial. You're looking at the cheese dripping. And welcome to Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Alstyne. The show brought to us tonight by Siren Records McHenry. A quick programming note earlier this week. Tonight I'm recording episode 603, or here in Chicago we say 603 or 600 tree. I always get that wrong. A couple nights ago, I did episode 600 of this podcast. And if you missed it, it was a live, nonstop, 5-hour recording with about 30 different guests. The entire chunk, the massive slab of interviews is available to watch on YouTube and on Facebook. And I also chopped it up for easier consumption in audio form wherever you get your podcast. Lots of fun guests, lots of great stuff. That was Monday night. That was the endurance test I created for myself. Coming up, I'm making plans for a road trip. You know, this podcast originated in a car, and yes, it'll return to the car. Making plans to go to the Music from Illinois museum exhibit in Springfield, Illinois. Brand new museum collection. I believe it opens tomorrow, and they have a broadcast facility there. So we're going to take the podcast on the road and talk about everything to do with Illinois music, and that is something I'm working on right now. Details to come. Tonight, though, he is a visionary artist. His new project is called Featured. Just released a full-length last month called Girly. Not a bad LinkedIn profile for this guy. He's been part of Nitzer Ebb, Cubanate and Die Krupps. Julian Beeston, good evening.
Hello. How's it going, James?
I feel like you brought the mood into a much more mellow place. I was a little too high energy, and you're very chill.
I'm trying to be chill. Yeah, well, because I've been here 12 hours, mate.
This is your laboratory.
You saw my message this morning. I don't know if you saw my message. I thought it was 6:30 a.m.
Oh, shit. No, I didn't even see that. I'm sorry.
Because I'm so rock and roll, I got up, especially for you.
Oh, no, I feel terrible.
And I had tea and...
Oh, Julian, I didn't even see the message. And this brings up a point that makes me crazy.
But it's not your fault. It's Brooke's fault.
I blame Brooke at Armalite, but
yes,
we're too accessible on too many platforms. Too many messages in too many places. It's hard to centralize any of it.
Oh, God, yeah, I know. Don't you just hate email chains?
Email chains, but then there's Facebook Messenger. And, I sent you a message on Instagram. Yeah. Did you get my DM on Twitter? Like... No. I can't, and then someone will have the nerve to pick up the phone and call amidst all these messages. Like, I can't. Sacrilege. So congratulations, Girly, your recently released album. It just feels like the right album at the right time.
Oh, really?
Well,
that's jolly nice of you to say so, James.
Well, it's a very accessible electronic album with a gleefully dark edge.
Oh, I like to write that down.
Gleefully dark.
Yeah, accessible. Yeah, I hope someone's making notes. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the concept. It's called Girly. You have 10 different vocalists on this, female vocalists?
Yeah, I think so. Don't ask me to count. As I said, it's been a long day.
I understand.
Yeah, actually, no, I think there's 10, all in all.
So what was the vision there? Just you wanted to put your compositions out there with different female voices, there's a specific thing you were going for?
Pretty much. Yeah. I haven't really done anything of note, really. I've just been a hired hand and just done dodgy remixes for people and stuff like that. And I sort of engineered quite a lot of stuff and produced quite a lot of stuff. And then sort of over the last sort of 10, 15 years, my main sort of musical output was sort of music for dodgy reality TV, which
is redundant.
It's redundant, but it pays the bills. So
for sure.
So about 3 years ago, I said, right, I'm going to take some of these songs and I'm going to do them. So I did, and it took me. I sort of sat on my ass for a little while and just sort of went round and round. And then I just went, sort of 2019, I went sort of full speed ahead. and there's some old songs and then some new songs, and there's a whole nother album coming actually probably later on in the year, of songs I couldn't fit on, and other songs that I've written, because obviously we had that thing of the pandemic, so I had a lot of time to sort of fart around with my machines, and pretend I was a songwriter. So I decided I wanted to make this album, and I had a sort of certain sound in my head that I didn't want it to all sound the same. So if you've listened to the Girly album, you know that there's some sort of quite poppy songs, and there's there's a couple of sort of soppy songs too, but and then there's a couple of songs that sort of slam you over the head.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to do it because I like female vocals, with good female vocalists, and that was a whole journey unto itself, trying to find decent singers.
By the way, you were such an artist who's done interviews before. There was an almost jaded tone if you've listened to the album, because most interviewers don't. They don't even fucking bother.
No, well, I know, well, don't bother, kids. I'll tell you all about it now.
There you go.
And then I stumbled across some really good singers, and then I had some not bad experiences, but there's a lot of crap out there, isn't there, James? I mean,
Indeed.
Oh my God, I didn't know until I started this quest how bad the music scene was, and how bad some singers are.
Well, there's a lot of bad stuff out there, Julian, but there's great stuff too, and you just got to know where to look, and so it gets harder and harder to figure that out. But you found it. I mean, some of these aren't household names.
I couldn't be happier.
These are not household names on your album doing the vocals, but I heard some of these voices, and I mean, even something like Horizon, you have Andrea Kerr doing the voice on that. Her voice hovers right above the mix there. I mean, this to me, I wish Garbage still made music like this, that sounded like this. Like this sounds like all the 90s stuff that was just printing money back in the day.
Right. Damn, why didn't I do this 20 years ago?
Well, better late than never, Julian. But these vocalists are fantastic. And when you hear the lyrics they created for your songs, when you hear what they do with their songs, was it kind of a revelation to have someone paint these songs with a different brush?
It was, in that respect, but with this album, with Girly, I wrote everything.
Oh, you just plugged in the voices, basically.
Well, it's not. Yeah, I worked with the singers and wanted their input and wanted their take on what I'd written.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay.
So I wrote all the songs, and I wrote all the, that's why it took me so long, because I wrote all the lyrics and everything as well. So, and then I sang them very badly and said, "What do you think? Could you sing it like this?" And then we'd work and go back and forth a bit. Although, luckily, most of the singers were in LA at one time or another. So, sorry, we've got Chico the Chihuahua.
Can we see Chico the Chihuahua?
Yes. We'll show Chico. He has to be center of attention, don't you?
Oh,
Yes.
who's a good dog?
There you are. Yep, I don't want a doggy wash though. It's not time for doggy washing. No, I know you want snacks. Yes. So he's had his dinner, and now he knows I'm talking to someone. So
right. Chico's not getting attention right now. You are, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah. So hang on. Here's a snack, and then Gizmo's down here, but she's shy.
Gizmo's a great name for a dog.
Yeah. Well, they're both rescues, and I was going to rescue Gizmo and her sister, and I was going to get Gizmo and Gadget, but Gadget got taken by somebody else by the time I'd gone back, so it was just Gizmo.
All right, now that we're clear on where the lyrics are coming from,
well, they're coming from the dogs.
They're coming from the dogs, clearly.
Actually, there's a couple of songs about dogs on the album.
Get out, really?
Yeah, Shelter is about dogs. Shelter is about shelter dogs.
With Livy Holland.
Sung by the lovely Livy Holland.
Who also, that's not the only song she's on. One of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song on the album, is Satellite. It's this dreamy, slow-burning song on the album.
Oh, lovely.
love that song. But talking about lyrics, there are politics in some of the lyrics, like Meltdown. I wondered, this made me crazy. I'm so surprised there wasn't more political music being put out into the universe over the past few years. Just given the state of the world, I just expected us to be flush with political songs over the past 18 months at least.
I mean, it's not so much well, I don't know if they're political. I mean, I was quite sort of, I don't know. I was quite angry last few years about a lot of things. This year, couldn't care less. This year, I can't even watch Bill Maher, and cause it's awful, isn't it? Everything that's going on in the world. So but it's political, but it's more about stupid people, and there's stupid people on both sides, on all sides.
100%.
Yeah. So.
Well, then let's talk about American.
That's actually about fireworks, and bloody Americans, just preoccupation with having to let fireworks off all the time.
You're saying this as a dog owner, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Because every 4th of July season, starting at Memorial Day,
there's no season anymore. It's just, I don't know if you've been to LA. It's just constant.
Believe me, it's no better in the Chicago area.
Yeah, no.
It's nonstop, and my dog is a wreck.
Yeah.
And just when you think they're over, nope, we're in war-torn Beirut all of a sudden.
Yeah, but it's like these people, they let them off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're when it's still daylight, and I'm like, what is the point?
What is the point?
What planet are you on?
They're not even cheap thrills because they're really expensive to buy.
I know. I mean, it's just, it boggles my mind. So it started off as a fireworks song, then it just sort of turned into sort of, general stupid people song. It's not anti-American. It's just, maybe Americans could get some humility and sort of, stop claiming to be the best at everything. I mean, you have you're always world champions at baseball, and you're the only country that plays.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's lots of other countries that play too. So yeah, American. I just thought it was quite funny.
Some of the other songs on the album, in particular, "Come and Get It" with Sabrina Love on vocals, "Boom Boom Shake the Room." Is this a courtship song? Is this a song about erectile dysfunction? I can't quite figure this out.
It's a song about a girl having a fight. I was trying to write something. The "Boom Boom Shake the Room" thing came a bit later, but I was trying to sort of write this sort of positive angle on a girl basically telling a dude to go F himself. And that's so it turned it, because it was quite a fun and up tempo track. And then I got the "Boom Boom Shake the Room" bit. In fact, Sabrina had already recorded it with her lovely sister who plays guitar, Melissa. And then I said, "Oh, I've got this extra bit. It goes like this." So I did a quick sort of demo of it, and she went back in and put the "Boom Boom Shake the Room" bit in. You can take it any way you want. I mean, it could be a song about erectile dysfunction. It could be a song about just female empowerment. It could be a song about whatever you
dogs,
having a shag. But it was more about a girl having a fight, or just some geezer giving her a hard time, and she fronts him up and then says, don't you dare, I'll get you.
There's no way I can have a conversation with you and not reference the source of our hometown pride. You have Ayatoya. You're working with her again on this album. She was on the EP you put out around the end of last year. She's a dynamo. She's fantastic.
She's just simply brilliant. There's no other word for her. When I was looking for singers and I came across her and I was like, yes, how do I get in touch with her? She's awesome. And she can sing and she can play and she can...
She is a one-person force of nature.
We may have lost some batteries or something. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Hold on. Hold on. We have to go to Plan B.
It is Car Con Carne, my guest tonight, Julian Beeston, working on Plan B. Featured is the new project. You can listen to it on featured.bandcamp.com.
Oh, there you go. Are you back?
I'm here.
Excellent. Sorry, my batteries ran out. I'm so professional.
You know what? 13 months into the pandemic, we've seen every possible thing break bad in a video chat. This is just, it's another day at the office.
Well, thank you. But back to Anya. Yes, I mean, she's just fantastic, and she deserves so much more than where she is right now. And I hope big things are going to happen for her. And I hope that she's going to be singing some more stuff with me. So that's good.
I hope so too.
Yeah. And you know, I hopefully we're going to be sort of co-writing some stuff too, because I can't go through another album where I've written everything and written all the lyrics. And I just can't do that anymore. I love Hysteria.
Opening with a big groove. You said that there's a little bit of something on here for everyone. I mean, this has a big danceable groove to it. I thought that was a great introduction to the album.
Oh, good, because I was pondering what to put first, really. I didn't really know.
Because sequencing an album, I think, is a lost art.
Yeah.
Because we live in an a la carte world where people just do singles at a time. I think there's not as much attention paid to where everything falls in line.
I was trying to break it up, and I was trying to break up the singers, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to make it go, you know, up and down, light and shade. And then I gave up and said to Brooke and Giles, could you have a listen and just tell me what you think, what should go for? And that was their decision, actually. That was good.
Well, great flow.
Good.
And especially, again, I'll bring up Satellite. And this dreamy song, and then it goes right into Somewhere Else, where the guitars definitely make themselves felt. They announce themselves as a presence. It really is a nice, this sounds trite and cliche, but nice journey going through these tracks.
Good. I'm glad. I like to think so. I'm very proud because I could, you know, I don't know. That's why I didn't do anything for so long, because I thought, oh, I could do a EBM album or something, couldn't I? It'd just be a cop out, you know, and it's just, I don't want to do that. Sorry, this dog here. Yeah, so I'm very pleased with how it turned out, and the fact that it's all quite different, and you know, I think all the songs stand up and are reasonably good. So.
Is it safe to say you've kind of figured things out for yourself, career-wise, artistically? Like you've kind of found your calling where you need to be?
Yeah, it only took 30 years.
But you got there. I mean, there are plenty of artists who don't. I
guess so. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to think. I'm pretty happy. You know, I'm fortunate enough to live in LA, and I've got I do my reality TV music, and then I get to work on. I do a lot of production sound for video games and stuff, so that's quite nice. I don't work in a bank, so
right.
Yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, grass is always greener. But I'm pretty happy, you know.
Reading,
I'm writing more stuff, and I'm just I'm quite happy with my dogs and just hanging out. I'm not looking for some amazing meaning to life where I have to go and sit on top of a mountain or something.
Reading what you wrote about this album and your history on Bandcamp, talking about, basically walking through your musical resume. Is it safe to say that you're better being your own boss than working for others?
Oh God, yeah. I do get fired a lot for being, obviously being inept. I got fired for being, basically like this dog just now he wants to get down. Basically being inept in Nitzer Ebb, and they didn't like my ideas, and then that was, but there's no love lost there, or there's no hard feelings. It's water under the bridge,
You're also very young.
Not really.
You look like you're younger than you probably are.
I hope so. Yes, with that plastic surgery.
Yes, you've somehow managed to.
LA, God.
Is that what it is? You've reversed the aging process somehow.
I try to. Yeah. Although, you know, I look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, my God. And then, you know, you go to Trader Joe's and you before you go in, you go, God, I look like an unmade bed today. You know.
That's why I live in the
Thank
Midwest.
God you can't pick anybody up in the supermarket anymore because no one will talk to you anyway. So it doesn't really matter what you look like. So, you know. But I've heard that you can pick people up in supermarkets, or you used to be able to, but never worked for me.
All you have to say is, hey, you know what? Back in the day, I opened up for Depeche Mode on the Violator tour.
And they go, what? Who are you? Speaking of Trader Joe's, though, Trader Joe's does it. It's amazing when you're in there, and now they're playing 90s music.
I know.
And now I'm sort of, you know, like they're playing New Order or something, and I'm singing along, and no one knows it's me because I'm wearing a mask.
Of course.
Or no one knows it's me singing. It's great, but I love it when you kind of come, you know, you come up to the veggie burger section, and you're, and then there's somebody else singing next to you. You know,
Yeah, you know how you know you're aging or you're getting older? It's when you sing along to the songs at the grocery store.
I get it, but I do that anyway.
When they're all like familiar songs from your childhood, that's when you know.
Yeah, I love that.
But that veggie burger section at Trader Joe's, the quinoa cowboy, delicious in the frozen section.
Oh, and those they ran out of those bean burger things a little while ago, and I was gutted. But thankfully they got them back. So now I sort of overbuy them all the time.
I always stock up on Trader Joe's frozen stuff because that's the best. Like in case of emergency, break glass type. Nothing. We have nothing in the fridge. Okay, orange chicken from Trader Joe's. It is.
That's right. And it's the cheapest place to get certain things. I mean, I'm so sad. You know, I plan my Saturday mornings. I get up and I go, right, I'm going to get to Trader Joe's before the rush. And we need to go to Whole Foods because they sell that stuff. But I don't want to deal with the crowds, you know. So
I relate.
Yeah. I think everyone can relate, you know.
So looking back on your past, which we talked about kind of in circles, what would you go back and tell a young Julian Beeston?
Not to be a dick. That's a good question, actually, James. Probably don't take it for granted. You know, well, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that was really out of my hands. You know, I was with the Ebb. You know, I was working on Big Hit for like 6 months before they got rid of me. And they didn't like my ideas. And then they wanted a jazz drummer. So maybe I should have been a better drummer at the time, and not sort of taken that for granted. But then again, as I said, you know, there's no hard feelings. They went off to Chicago, actually, and various other places, and sort of chased their tails for a little while and came out with that album. And possibly should have done that better. I don't know. And then possibly I should have taken football more seriously. I should have, like, you know, not discovered girls and drinking at 16 instead of, you know, and carried on with football. Because who knows, I could have been David Beckham.
You could have. I honestly, Julian, I appreciate what you're saying. I think you figured out who you are and what you should be doing. I think the new album, Girly, by Featured, by the way, a very hard band to Google, just generally speaking.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah. I was just trying to think of a good name, and that sort of came up, but I know it's not the best name. But
it works though, especially because you have 10 featured artists, featured vocalists on the featured album.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's meta.
Plus featured guitarists and featured, you know, I had Dean from Curve plays bass on it quite a lot, and my good friend Steve from KMFDM, and Melissa, she plays a lot because I play guitar really bad, so that's the thing. I'd strum these, I'd sort of make these songs and sort of, you know, I'd sort of just get everything where I wanted it, and then I'd sort of spend weeks playing with my modular system and, you know, like trying to come up with sounds. And then, you know, I should probably get someone to play this better, you know. So I did. So, you know, I got Melissa and Steve to play guitars better for me, and Dean to play bass. So I didn't do anything really.
You said these are a lot of songs that have been maybe sitting around for a while that you wrote a long time ago. What time frame are we talking about? Is this decades worth of writing? Is this past 5 years?
Oh, it's decades. There's early versions of Hysteria and Fuel, which is on the first EP, and Horizon that were on the first. When I left Nitzer Ebb, this is another little regret actually. I did an album under the name Shining, and some of those ideas, you know, Nitzer Ebb didn't want. So I went, well, I'm going to go take my ball and go to this studio and do this then. So I did an album, and what I should, you know, and I was like, right, it's going to be me, it's going to be mine, and you know, I've got a singer, and I should have just said, got a producer, and just sort of produce. You know, could have been way better than anything else at the time. It could have been, you know, but it turned out a bit shit, really. And that's my fault. We did do a little tour though that was really good because Steve was in that band too. And we went. Another band I got fired from actually, Patricia Morrison's band. I was playing keyboards for her, and so we went on a little European tour together. So I'd play in Shining as the opening act, and then I'd play keyboards for Patricia Morrison.
You know, I feel like you have a little bit of Chicago in you because you have a self-deprecating nature.
Oh, that's British.
Is that British? It's very Midwestern too.
Oh, well, that's good. I do have a fondness for Chicago, having spent 2 winters there and a summer working. Because you know, when you know, I mean, I don't speak to him very much, but you know, one of my mentors, I guess you could call him. I don't know. I love him dearly anyway. Mr. Atkins was good enough to employ me, even though I was a bit shit, as an engineer. You know, like to do. I did like. Well, the best thing we ever did was the Gravity Kills album. That was really good. But you know, I did various things, and I'd sort of just come over to Chicago and just hang out and just, you know, do Invisible Records stuff.
Yeah, I had Martin. I had Martin on the show a couple nights ago.
Lovely man.
Brilliant industry mind.
Exactly.
He's an educator and a sensei for the music industry.
Yeah, no, exactly. He is. He's lovely. You know, he's a beacon.
He is. All right, so Julian, Girly is available now, and this is just a taste of what's to come because you said earlier that there's a lot more behind this.
Oh God, yeah, you're going to be so bored with me too.
Well, let's test that out. Put out the next stuff, and we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I'd love to come back and tell you all about it because I've been literally when I realised that you know you'd stood me up at 6:30 this morning.
Stop it! That's not true.
I wrote what was possibly one of the best tracks on the new album. So, and there's some really great stuff to come. You know, I'm going to be working with Anya again, and Christine, and Livy, and Whitney, and Mia, and I'm also going to be working with. We finished some songs, well, almost finished some songs. Mari from Helix.
Damn,
she is awesome.
Well, what I love about there are a lot of things I love about this album. It introduced me to a lot of voices I hadn't heard before, and that was exciting to me.
Good.
Because I think the world needs more curators in whatever form they take, be it a project like this or whatever. You introduced me to a lot of new people this way, and I thought it was awesome.
Oh, that's great. I'm really pleased that you like it, and I'm really pleased with what you said about it. That's really good. You know, I mean, everyone involved in it was just super awesome. So
I'm telling you, Satellite, that's the one I keep coming back to.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the. It's not the oldest one, but it took me a while. That went through many little revisions and you know all sorts of stuff, and then it came together like right at the end. And then I gave it to Livy, and I said, "Can you even understand what I'm singing?" And she said, "Yeah." Because Livy was in LA, but then she went. Oh God, she was in Romania, and then now she's back in Canada. But and she, I mean, everyone did a great job on this album for me, so I can't take credit really.
Well, I would encourage people who are watching or who are listening to listen to this album. It's I said it at the beginning. It just feels like the right album at the right time. The world is brightening up. It's the right sound, right vibe, everything. So, Julian, stay right there, and thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you. My pleasure, mate.